This is the Oracle system by Clank, a meticulously crafted 66 HP stereo desktop instrument. And in this video, we're going to concentrate on making more percussive elements and dive into Choas' step sequencer function to show you just how versatile this is. Okay, I want to explore some more percussion elements here because there's some really cool techniques that are hidden away in Choas, almost as a kind of second mode, as a, as a step sequencer that you might already kind of use, but it's hidden away in here. So we could do some more intricate kind of programming. So let's create another kick drum just like we did before. Let's take the output of Proteo, our oscillator, run that into axis, and then out of axis into our speakers. All we need to do is trigger the envelope. So let's take a gate output 6 here and run that into the trigger. There we go. So we're hearing that just as a sine wave. And because we've got nothing coming in and modulating that, it'll go silent once we're morphed up to that range where it would be looking at the modulating waveform. But that's okay because we're making a kick drum, so sine wave works well for us. Let's take the function out and use that on the span. And this is going to give us that envelope shape of our kick drum. So you get that kind of rise in the pitch and then down again. And we could play with those different shapes if we want to, but that's about right. So there we go. We've got a kick drum going. We've got the reverb over here if we want it. If we want to get into ambient land, I'll just leave that down for now. And yeah, so let's have a look at this kind of mode inside of here. At the minute, we've just got channel 6, and let's just loop that. So we go into loop mode, and you can see it playing back. It's gone blue. And what we can do is we can go in here, and now we're in a kind of step sequencing mode. And wherever it's lit up, it's going to produce a trigger, and we can see the trigger there. So we can now go in, we can select any of these steps, and we can apply things like probability, we can do ratcheting per step, we can even play around with the time. So maybe we'll do that. I'm just going to make this, just going to make that 4 steps long, just so we're playing around with that. And if we double tap time, we can also play around with the swing. So on that particular step now, it's just a little bit later. So that's fun. And we can also play around with the time and make that 4th step a little bit longer. That's cool. Maybe make it 5. So it's already a bit more of a less obvious pattern, which is cool. When playing with drums, don't necessarily always want just like banging 4 to the floor. Might just make the timing of that one something like that. Now, because we're playing with triggers here, the pitch isn't really going to do much for us, but probability per step, so we could say like this first step, the probability of that playing could be very low, and this step could be somewhere like that, and that, so we're adding more variation. And yeah, in fact, I'm going to just increase the speed of that particular track. So now we've got, you know, all sorts of probability going on and a bit more of a wilder loop. I'm just going to put all the probability back though to 100% because I want them always to trigger. Something like that. Now, the other thing that I might want to do is kind of have a play around with making a kind of snare or something like that. So maybe I'll use the other Proteo and kind of maybe do some modulation within itself to come up with some kind of wilder sound. So in order to do that, I'm going to take the output of the first side and I'm going to run it into the modulation of the second side. So we're getting that going on. And if I really crank that modulation, we get this kind of going on. So this side is essentially now modulating that. And again, we could play around with the time and stuff like that. Let's have a listen to how that sounds. It might be good, might not be. Let's see. So if we take our output and let's run it into, so we've got this other side here of axis to use. There's an envelope. So let's use that. And I'll take the output of that, put it in there. And then we just need to trigger that side. So let's trigger that with this. That kick drum pattern's pretty wild. Not sure I like it. Let's try different timing. Something like that. And then we've got this other channel here, which is like our snare. Might try a different waveform shape for that. It's kind of cool. I want something with a bit more attack, so I'm going to leave it around there. So we can now go over to our channel here and we can play around in exactly the same way. We can put a loop on that second channel and maybe go into step sequencer mode. Let's make this an odd amount. Let's make this 5 and let's play around. Yeah, let's add some ratcheting. So I just held down width there, double tap width, and whichever step we're on, you can apply that ratcheting. So, you know, we've got some drums going on there. Now I suppose we're not using one of the outputs here on Proteo, so we've effectively got a whole channel here to play around with. So we could maybe utilize that and run it into the same side of axis, so that it's using the same envelope, and see if we can get some kind of subtle low end that just triggers at the same time as that. So to do that, I'm going to take the, yeah, that's our kick, isn't it? I'm going to run that into here. Let's run that output into axis. Because what I'm doing is I'm summing that sound with, I should have really used this longer lead here. Let me swap that back over. That's better. Yeah, so what I'm doing is summing the kind of percussion-y snare sound and also the output of the right hand side of this. So you should hear that low end now, which is coming from this side of this sub. And we could just modulate, we could modulate that waveform so it's not subby. And we could take CV out from channel 4. And that's introducing those harmonics there. And then you can kind of use those, I suppose, as like almost volume sliders. Yeah. So there you go. That's a way of kind of creating some percussion with this, as well as like a, yeah, I guess like a supporting synth line with that. Nice. Nice.